We now continue with American Entrepreneur.
We want to dive a little bit deeper because when we use the cliche of thinking outside the box, people have heard that before. And what does that really mean when you say think outside the box? And I'll give an example. If you have one, then certainly share it. But I had a matter of fact, my videographer and I were at a hotel, and he was just telling me how frustrated he was at not seeing a valet happening. I think it was the NAACP having a state event. And we looked around. And so as I heard him talk, and we parted ways, I went back into the hotel and I left my name and number with the lady that was in charge. And I wrote at the bottom valet company. And she called me up and she says, "Hey, Ed, I understand you have a valet company." I said, "Yes, I do." She says, "Great." She says, "Are you bonded?" I said, "Absolutely." She says, "When can we talk?" I said, "How's Tuesday?" And it was Friday when I gave her, we had that conversation. Well, through the help of a number of friends in my network, I was able to go and get the insurance that I needed. Through Michelle, I was able to file for that particular company and get my LLC off the ground. I got online and got a logo designed, and I also did a flyer. Went into that building on Tuesday, all prepared with an LLC, bonded and everything else, and wound up getting in the contract. So when we say thinking outside the box, those are the kinds of examples I think that we're really talking about, are we not?
Well, I think that's opportunity. The other cliche is that, when something, well, it's not a cliche, but when something bad happens to you, it's really an opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
When the market's down, it's an opportunity to participate at lower prices. Okay, we don't like that around here in the Detroit market with real estate doing what it's done over the past few years. But it's an opportunity to start something. And I remember some of my earlier years in corporate banking, and when corporations have to make those decisions like downsizing and reorganization, when those things happen, there are casualties. And I remember I was going to become a casualty of one of these reorganizations. However, there was an opportunity for me to do something different in the organization. And the night before, I didn't know why I was doing this with my number one advisor. We talked about what this could look like for me and how did I envision responding to this change. And it caused me to change my thinking to say, you know what, I can make something else work as a result of this opportunity. And yes, it's negative, but at the same time, it allowed me to see and to look at the other opportunities. You have to find a way to convert, negative things, renewable energy, if you will. You've got to find a way to recycle, to reuse, to re-leverage that which you have. And I think that if you can avoid staying stuck or getting stuck in, let's say, a negative change, then you can free your mind to think about the possibilities.
Yeah.
And when you think about possibilities, it forces you to think about people. We call that our network. You reach out, you start sharing the idea, and you start developing what really are the components of what we look back and call entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
That finished product down the road, 17 years later down the road, we see a finished product. But I think it's just one of those great things that, and the environment creates the opportunity.
Right.
We just have to respond to it.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, final thoughts on this whole entrepreneurship as we wrap up this show. I really wanted to make sure that I got you all's response, but I think there's a key component that I'm hearing. Networking, creativity, discipline, and even monitoring of your time, how you spend your time. So final thoughts real quickly that you would give to any potential entrepreneur or new entrepreneur coming in into the industry.
Sure, I think those are great bullet points. That only two I would say next would be to be technically proficient at whatever you do, because at the end of the day, we have to produce. And as an entrepreneur, we're always looking for the next opportunity. And I think about the book, Who Moved My Cheese?
Yes.
And when the cheese gets moved, you've got to be able to respond to it, but be able to respond to it in such a way that you are technically proficient in order to succeed. And so again, being, when I was in law firm life, I learned the skills to be a lawyer, but also I learned how to run the business so that I could take those skills and experiences. And so when the cheese moved for me, like it moved for you, Antonio, you're able to take advantage of it.
Right.
And so those are some of my insights I would like to share with prospective entrepreneurs.
Good.
Well, I think that needs to be echoed. You have to know your craft. You cannot discount and rely solely upon the business plan. Find a way to do the opportunity that you want to do at the least amount of cost. If you want to go into sales, then what's the minimum requirement to get into that field and show your value to your next customer. And your next customer may be an employer, your next customer may be a vendor, a service provider. You never know where you're going to meet that person, but you have to have something to show them versus just ambition, versus a great business plan that's untested, untried. So I think if you can find a way to start at a very basic level of what you want to do at a larger level, it will sell to your customer versus pitching someone to believe in you.
Right.
You're actually showing them you have a solution for them.
That's
And
excellent.
it's so great. I had a client call us 2 weeks ago. They called us out of the blue saying, we need your help. And working for Cloverleaf Consulting Group for the last 10 to 12 years, that was the epitome of what we do, is when people call you and says, we need you to come help us to deliver a solution.
Yeah.
And so, we really have to work hard.
Yeah.
And people need to know, as an entrepreneur, we work hard every day of the week.
Yeah, I like what Antonio says about that. He says, I work every day, just not all day.
Yeah.
So, guys, I want to certainly thank you for joining me on the show. Insightful information. I wish you luck with your staffing solutions and you with financial advising. And we'll do this again very soon.
Thank you very much.
Okay.